Jai Hind everyone, welcome back to the Patriotic IAS. Let's start our IAS PCSwala Daily Current Affairs. Today it is 9th of the May and we have near about 9 topics that we will discuss one by one. 9 not, I think 6 topics that we will discuss one by one. The first topic that we have covered is the filmmaker Sangeet Sivan passage away. So it is for the state pieces that they can ask that where he belong from, what type of the movie he has made and what language he belongs from. So it will be for the state PCS prelims. Then we will study that India is now third largest producer of the solar power. So we will see that what are the other countries who are leading, and China is the leading, and China is much ahead of the other countries who are just behind that. So near about 4 or 5 countries we will see that who are the leading country for the, and now India is the third, but the China is much ahead. So you should know this is important for the prelims. After that we will see that a chance to settle constitutional clash, and this is very important news. This is with respect to the tussle between the fundamental rights and the DPSP, that which one is the more important, which one can be amended, which cannot be not amended, which is superior to the other. So this is the first thing. The second thing is the tussle between the amending power of the parliament and the judicial review power of the judiciary, because whenever there is the law that is made, the judiciary test that whether it is as per the constitution or not. So this is the history, this is the evolution that is going on with respect to the fundamental rights and DPSPs. So we will see into the detail. We will also try to write a answer. We will give you a question on the basis of the DPSP and the fundamental rights and the laws evolution. You have to write the answer. Tomorrow we will discuss its analysis. Okay. After that we will study the giving primacy to the human development. So here we will see that the human development index and what is the condition of India. We will also see the gender inequality index, and we will see that the how India is lagging and the different countries, comparison with the different countries. So prelims as well as for the mains, it comes under the GS paper 3, that's talking about the development, growth, economy, all this thing. Okay. Then we will see the delay in the Nagaland civic body poll, and it is mainly due to the reservation of the women. So this part can come under the GS paper 1 society, because the social women's condition as per the protest that is going on the basis that the women are not part of the decision making into the Naga society. Why you are bringing them under the reservation and under decision making? So this will be for the society. For the polity, we will see that what are the provisions that give special power to the Nagaland with respect to the parliamentary law, as well as the special power into the different areas such as the religion, rituals, custom, all these things that we will study. We will also see that the under Indian Constitution, what is the provision that provide for the reservation of women into the urban local bodies. Into the last, we will see that the socio-ecological effect of the LPG price hike, how the LPG price hike impacting the women and the different section of the society, and also the environment. So it will be part of the GS paper 2 government scheme as well as the environment. So this will be, this can be overlapping. Let's start with the front page. The front page, the first page, that is in the election session. In the parliamentary election, there is the shocking news with respect to the state assembly election for the BJP. Some of the BJP candidate, some of the BJP collide partner and the independent candidate who were supporting the BJP government into the Haryana, they have withdrawn. Now they are giving support to the Congress and asking Congress to form the government. So this is here that is that has been given. The one of the party, that is the JP. Okay, so it had the 10 seats, and now they are offering support to the BJP and its chief Dushyant Chautala, who is asking Congress to form the government. They will give support from the outside. The support is not from the direct support. They are not going to part of the government, but they will support the government formed by the Congress from the outside. That is the stand that is going on into the Haryana. Let's see what is the further development that is going on into the future. Next news, again, the tussle that is going on between the center and the state. Here the center says that yes, it's sanctioned the CBI probe into the other state. initially the center was talking that the CBI is independent body. We doesn't have to do with any of the action taken by the CBI. However, when the Supreme Court said that, are you telling that the CBI is not under you, there is no control, that is not seems to be true. After that, the center say that yes, we give the sanction for the CBI into the other states. So this is continuously going on here. It is giving that the power that gives CBI investigation. It is the section 6 of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. So please know that there is no separate law for the CBI. It is the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 that is the main law under that the CBI function and it gives the power. Next news from the front page is the PM is a little scared, says Rahul after Modi's Adani Ambani taunt. Here, the Modi in one of his speech, continuously in his speech, he is telling that now the Congress and the Rahul Gandhi, they are not taking the name of Adani Ambani, or they are getting the money full of the tempo for not bringing the issue of Adani Ambani. So here the Rahul Gandhi that is counter attack that is going on. We don't have to go into that detail. That is the political news. Again, this continuously going on. That in Manipur the main opposition from those Meeti and the government dominated by the Meetis, they are talking about the migrants, the Kuki Jo migrants from the other side of the border, that is the Myanmar. They are opposing them. Now they have claiming that the 5,457 illegal migrants identified into the Kamjong. So this is the news that is continuously into the turmoil from the Manipur, and we see that the migrant issue, how this is going on. So not that much important, just you should know what is going on. Again, this is the political news. The case that where the BJP has claimed that whenever Congress will come into the power, they will give all the reservation given to the SC, STs and OB to the Muslims. Here it is being asked that this is not the true, and the Congress has never mentioned. So the court as well as the Election Commission of India, this matter is continuously into the investigation. So let's see what is going on. Now on that, there has been the notice given to the many of the functionaries like the IT cell head Amit Malviya, BJP chief JP Nadda, they all have got some of the notice with regard to that. So this is all about from the front page. Next news that we are going to take is from this. This is for the state PCS. This is talking about the Sangeet Shivam. Sangeet Shivam, he was a filmmaker, now he is passed away. He is known for his movie Yodha that was released into the 1992. It was the Malayalam cinema that gave boost from this movie. So you just have to need to know that Sangeet Shivam, he was the filmmaker, and his most famous movie that was the Yodha that was released into the 1992. He belonged from the Malayalam film industry. He has also done some of the movie from the Hindi as well, Bollywood. Here you will see that the Chura Liya Hai Tumne, Kya Cool Hai Hum, Apna Sapna, Money Money, all these are the money that was the commercial successful from his side. Next news that is talking about the India's third largest producer of the solar power. So it is good news that we are consistently making the effort to achieve and improve our renewable energy. So here you will see that who is the largest producer, it is the China. And you will see that it is much more, the 584, that is its quantity that it is producing 584 billion unit. Okay, so 584 billion unit solar power, that is the amount that is produced by the China, and it is more than the combination of the solar power produced by the next 4 countries, US, Japan, Germany and India. So you can see that what is the competition level. This is much ahead. Even they combined all of their solar energy power capacity, they are much lower than the Chinese production. Now India solar power, while making up 18% of the India's total installed electricity capacity of the 442 gigawatt. So you should remember that what is its percentage into all this. Now India has coming ahead of the Japan. Japan now is the 110 BU. Now India is 113 BU. So this is all about from this news. Next important news that we are going to take is from the editorial. And this is very significant news analysis, a chance to settle constitutional clash. So this topic, this matter is always has been into the debate, and this has been a point for the very strong debate and conflict between the parliament and the judiciary. What it is talking about? It is talking about that there is the always hierarchical difference. There is always conflict between the fundamental rights and the DPSP. Whenever you go for the implementation of the DPSP, there is the violation of the fundamental rights, and Parliament has different standing, the judiciary has different standing, and this is going on since 1952, the first judicial pronouncement that come under the Champaka Dore Rajan case. So, the first case 1951-52, and in that judgment, okay, so here Champakam Dore Rajan case, from here the first time the question comes that when we are going to implement the directive principle of state policy, if it violates the fundamental right, so will it be valid? The Supreme Court said that there will be the always supremacy of the fundamental rights. However, the parliament can amend the constitution. Parliament can amend the fundamental rights to implement the directive principle. So why the fight is there? The fight is mainly due to the nature of the fundamental rights and DPSP. So you should know that what is the difference between fundamental rights under part 3 of the Constitution. It is part 3 of the Constitution, and DPSP, directive principle of state policy. So why there is the fight? It will be under part 4 of the Constitution. One is under the part 3 and other is the part 4. Why there is the tussle? The one, as per the Constitution, one is judicially binding. Judicially binding means justiciable. Fundamental right is the justiciable. It means that whenever there is a violation of the fundamental rights, you can approach to the Supreme Court and ask that my rights has been violated. Supreme Court will give the direction order to implementation of your fundamental rights. So here, for the violation of the fundamental rights, it is justiciable. However, this part of 4, directive principle, this is not justiciable. That is also known as the enforceable. Enforceable means court can enforce. If the DPSP, if your violation, some violation of the provision of the DPSP is there. For example, if there is the provision of the Uniform Civil Code, and if there is no Uniform Civil Code into the country, you cannot go to the Supreme Court and ask for the implementation. It is on the responsibility of the state. State means government. State and government is not equal, but sometimes it is considered that the state is equal to the government. So the government will implement the fundamental right. There is the binding. Supreme Court can order the state and government to please implement, but for the DPSP, state or government cannot be enforced. They cannot be forced to implement. It is on the responsibility. Whenever the state and government feel that the time has now come and we have capability to implement the DPSP, only then they will go and implement the DPSP. So please try to understand the difference between the DPSP and the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights, this is enforceable. DPSP is not enforceable. This is just a responsibility. For example, take the example of a family. A family is there. For parents, the father has, means the children has fundamental rights to food. They need to food. If we will read that, we will write that fundamental right is the right to food. They need to eat, so parents have to provide the food on any case. But if I will bring one more provision that, and that will be DPSP, I will write that parents should also provide their children with the Mercedes to their children. But here I will write that this is not enforceable. Means whenever the father will have the money, he will provide the Mercedes to the children. That is the means thing that the grandparents is writing this this constitution, and they have provided two provisions. One is the fundamental right, that is certainly that is implemented. The father have to bring all this thing by any way. But this is this DPSP that has been given to the situation of the parents. When the father will have the money, means the Dadaji want to give the Mercedes to their grandchildren, but the father doesn't have the money. So Dadaji know that yes, the father cannot provide, but he think that he write that I wanted to give the Mercedes. This was my desire. But whenever the coming generation will have that much money, they will provide. But the money is not there. Dadaji know that, so he will not make it enforceable. The other where there is the need, that is basic thing. Without the food, the person can die. The child can die. So it is enforceable. That is the main difference between the fundamental rights and the DPSP. DPSP is on the desire of the government. Whenever they have that situation, that money, because at the time of the independence, we had not that much money. We have very limited money, so we made the two part. One part, fundamental rights, where there was no need for that much money. Here the only thing was said that you cannot do. Like in the fundamental rights, it has been mentioned that there should be no discrimination. For the no discrimination, there is no need for the money. Just government have to implement. Just have to say that you have not give the Dalit to the something else and the upper caste something else. However, here is again the complication is that the discrimination can be made on the basis of the positive discrimination. Means those who are the weaker section, you can provide you can bring some discrimination to improve their status. We will study that when we will study Article 14, the right to equality. But there is always rule. So here blunt discrimination cannot be made. Okay. So just try to understand there is a difference between the fundamental rights and the DPSP, and that's why the tussle is going on between the fundamental rights and the DPSP. Which one is the higher? Which one is the more important? There is a lot of judgment. The first judgment is started with the Champakam Dora Rajan case. There clear cut, the Supreme Court said that yes, the parliament have power to change the constitution, even the fundamental rights. Okay. However, the tussle started when the judiciary become powerful, and it comes under the Golaknath case. Golaknath case of 1967. That is very famous case. And here the Supreme Court said that Parliament doesn't have the power to change the fundamental rights. Fundamental right is the sacrosanct. Parliament cannot touch that. Here it gives a very shocking to the Parliament. So Parliament now came up, you know that at that particular time Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was there, and she was so much assertive Prime Minister. So she brought the change into the constitution itself. She brought two constitutional amendments. Constitutional amendment of the 24th Constitutional Amendment and the 25th Constitutional Amendment. In the 24th Constitutional Amendment, she clearly said that Parliament has power to amend any part of the Constitution, okay, and even the fundamental rights. So she nullified the Supreme Court judgment of the 1967 into the Golaknath case. Again, 25th Amendment Act said that it brought the Article 31C, and it very clearly said that those law that is brought to implementation of the DPSP, and in the DPSP, Article 39B and C, Article 39B and C, and if that law violates three articles, Article 14, Article 19 and Article 21 of the Constitution, despite the violation, that law will be not unconstitutional, that law will be valid. Are you getting now? In the previous judgment, the Supreme Court said that if there is any violation of the fundamental right, the law will become invalid. But the the amendment saying that we can violate this article, that is part of the fundamental rights. This is the 31, not the 21. Okay, this 31 is the, at that particular time it was right to property. Now it has been changed. Now it has been deleted and it is just constitutional right under Article 300A. Okay. So here there was the violation, and despite the violation, the law will be valid. Again, the case was filed against this law, this amendment, and under this case one and Bharti case, this is the most important case into the history of the judiciary in India. In this case, largest bench of the Supreme Court was there. 13 judges were deciding this case, and out of the 13 judges, 7 give into the favor of the, against the unlimited power of the parliament. Okay, so here the judgment, what the judgment came, they came up with the result that parliament have the power to amend the constitution. They agreed that yes, you can do, even the constitution have given power to you to change the constitution. However, you cannot change the constitution to that extent the basic structure of the constitution changed. What is the basic structure? We will study. So the judgment said that you can change the constitution, but it should not be that much that it violate the basic structure. So basic structure doctrine came after this. So here it declared that this is invalid. Parliament has power to amend any part of the constitution. However, the thing is that this point was nullified, that such law would not be open to judicial review. Judicial review means, as per the constitution, whenever the law is made, whenever you go and file the case that this law is not valid, this is against the constitution, the judiciary test the law. They will read the law and they will interpret that whether it is as per the constitution or against the constitution. This process is known as the judicial review. Judiciary review the law. So here the judicial review power was considered as the basic structure. Means if you will, for example, basic structure, what could be the basic structure of your building? The base, if you will remove the base, the building will collapse. So you can change the other thing, like you can change the door. There will be no collapse of this building. But whenever you change the base, your building will collapse. So here again in the constitution also, Supreme Court said that you can change the constitution. There is no worry. There is no limitation. However, your change should not be in such a manner that it's changed the whole model of the constitution. It collapses the constitution itself. So it should respect the spirit of those who established this constitution, our founding fathers, who constituted this constitution of India. So again, the parliament again become angry, and in that angry, and after that they brought the new amendment, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of the 1966. In that, the parliament clearly wrote into the constitution that not only the violation of Article 39 and B and C, but whole of the DPSP, whenever the parliament is going to implement whole of the DPSP, all directives, all part of the DPSP, and if that violate the 14, 19 and 31st Article 14, 19 and 31st, in that case, that law will be valid. And here they have clearly mentioned that the the court has unlimited power. So let me show you the amendment during by the 42nd Amendment Act. They added this provision. The first provision here, the fourth part of the 368, here it is mentioned that no amendment of this constitution shall be called in the question of any court on any ground. Means it now clearly, madam clearly wrote that whatever the parliament is going to do, that the judiciary cannot test. Means the removal of the judicial power, again judicial review. And she made it clearly, doubly she ensured that no limitation whatever on the constituent power of the parliament to amend. She made it clear that parliament can do anything. Means here she said to the judiciary, whatever your interpretation is there, I will write it clearly. She write it clearly into the constitution itself, and that the no limitation whatever on the constituent power of the parliament to amend. Means parliament will have the unlimited power to change the constitution. And again, the judicial review was excluded for the any of the change. Judiciary cannot review. Is it clear? So here you will see that this tussle was continuously. See again, the next filing, what will happen? The people will go to the judiciary, and the case come under the Minerva Mill case. And here the Supreme Court again struck down, means declared the part invalid and said that only Article 31 in its original form will be valid. What was the 31C? The 31C was telling that, here is the 31C. The 31C was telling that whenever the Parliament is going to amend the Constitution to implement the directive principle, and only two articles, Article 31B and Article 39C. Again, I will repeat. The Parliament to implement Article 39B and 39C can violate three fundamental rights, Article 14, Article 19 and Article 31. Why Article 14? Because 39 and 39B and C, you should try to understand what is 39B and C. Oh. Where is the 39B and C? It is into the DPSP. 39B and C talk about the bringing equality, bringing the order in a such a manner. Okay, 39B and C. It's talk about the material resources of community are so distributed. Here it is talking about the material resources of the community are so distributed to best serve the common good. Okay, so here it's talking about there should not be ownership and the control of the material resources. It means that the control on the land and the control on the resources should be in such a manner that it should serve the common man. It should not be like that the one person is controlling everything and the other people they are suffering from the poverty and hunger. So the control of the ownership and the different materials and the resources. It could be the land, it could be the any other thing like it could be the press, it could be the some of the industry. The control should be like serving the common man. Other is talking about the operation of economy system does not result into the concentration of the wealth. So here, what the parliament wanted to take? The parliament wanted to take the land from the jamidars who have the lot of excessive land, or it wanted to privatization of some of the bank. So here, when it is going to do, so the people will reach to the judiciary and they will say that my right to equality is violated. For example, if the poor people, if you are going to take the land, you will give the money. But for the jamidars, you are taking the land, you are not giving the money. So you are discriminating between the common man and the jamidars. Second violation was the right, freedom of profession and do the commerce. Means if you are taking my land or my property, you are not let me doing my profession or my commerce. So whenever there was the nationalization, so government was taking the banks from the private player to them. So it was a type of profession, type of the commerce. So Article 19 and Article 31 talks about the right to property, that everyone have the right to property and the government cannot take it away. So clearly it was listed. So that's why the violation was for the three articles, Article 31, Article 14, 19 and the 31. Okay. So is it clear that why there was the change, that amendment brought only these three articles? So this is known as a very much means a directed amendment, that this amendment, implementation of this going to violate this. The parliament wanted to, they knew that this will be violated. They clearly wrote down. Okay. So judiciary accepted, okay, if you are going to implement that, so that's fine. But you cannot say that no law will be open to judicial review. We will review all the law, and maybe we will not struck down this part whenever there is a violation, but the judicial review will be always there. So the validity was given to this part of the amendment. They struck down this part of the amendment. Is it clear? So by the Minideva Mill case, they restored this part. They struck down other part of this 42nd Amendment Act. By the 42nd Amendment Act, they brought this two provision. Article 368(4) that I showed you in the 368, two parts, that was struck down. This part and this part. Okay. This part and this part was struck down by the judiciary. So here in the constitution, it has been written that this two section has been declared invalid by the Minideva case. In the constitution itself, they have written, because whenever whenever judiciary is struck down, it is not valid. Despite this is the part of the constitution, but this is not valid. So this is the main case. Here, the writer want to say that again, the case in the Supreme Court is going on the Property Owner Association versus State of Maharashtra. This is the case that is going on, and in this case, the main challenge is that government want to take the control of those buildings that has been dilapidated. It means that they are not into the good condition. They are old, 100 years old, 200 years old, and government want to take ownership of those buildings and want to develop their own society or anything. Here, the case is that as per this law, if 70% of the residents they are agree, the government can take away the land. However, this all buildings, the ownership is with the private players, private people. Okay. Where is this change? Okay, there is somewhere this change. Okay, here it is given that 75% of the resident, if they are ready, the state government board can take this buildings. They can acquire complete control. So here again, they are going to violate the law, because if government cannot take any land, if they are going to take land, all people should pay the money as per the market value. So here the challenge is that to implement now, the government can say that I am going to implement Article 39B and C because I will construct the building and I will give it to the poor. I am going to take it from those who are the rich. This building are belonging from those who are rich, they have the left, but they have the claim because they are now somewhere else, but they have the claim. But the government can say that yes, I will take and I will give it to the poor. The resource says here, it is clearly into the constitution, into 39B, they have mentioned that the government has, the state have to make such a system where it should not result into the concentration of the wealth, and also the state have to take care of the distribution so that it serve the common good. Common good means the common man, the service of the common man, they can get the thing. Here the question is that how much you can, to implement this, how much you can violate Article 19, Article 14 and Article 31. Now 31 is not part of the constitution, not part of the fundamental rights, but the Article 14 and the 19 is still violated. You are going to violate the two part. Okay, you cannot take the land or you cannot do the thing without the consent of the people. So here, the writer has mentioned all that cases we discussed, it has mentioned the Minideva Mill case, case 1 and Bharti case. Here it has mentioned the case 1 and Bharti case, where what was the stand of the judiciary. Okay, so judiciary brought the basic structure that we already have discussed. So here the writer want to say that despite all this judicial pronouncement, the judiciary has confused. For example, in that case, why the confusion is that? When in the case 1 and Bharti case, the judiciary said that this part of the amendment is correct, but this part of the amendment is not valid. That was the case 1 and Bharti case stand of the judiciary. However, later into the case of the Minideva Mill case, they said that when the parliament have extended all this directive, if all the validity of all this directive against the judicial review, in that case the Supreme Court said that we will restore to this level. So this level include this also. Same judge, for example, the same judge was into the both cases. He was the father of the present Chief Justice of India. D.Y. Chandrachud is now the Chief Justice of India. At that particular time, it was the Y.D. Chandrachud. His father was the Chief Justice. The same judge said that this portion is not valid, this is the valid. However, into the second case, he said that the whole part is valid. So if you are going to say that the whole part is valid, you are declaring this as well valid. So that's why the confusion is still there. Writer is telling that the same type of matter is there. Here, the writer is telling that the in Minideva milk kills, the same court found that while the DPSP provide the end of the government's fundamental rights constituted the means to such end. Okay, so here the same, the writer is telling that now this case of the Property Owners Association, this case gives chance to the judiciary to make it clear that what are the portion that is valid and what are the portion that is not valid, what is the power of the parliament with respect to the fundamental rights and the DPSP. Here, if judiciary want to make it clear, they have chance that to make it clear that the power of parliament with respect to the amendment power to the DPSP and the fundamental rights. I hope this is clear. There will be more clarity when you will study this DPSP and the fundamental rights into the detail. But however, you should know that the fundamental rights, that is the enforceable, and the DPSP, that is just a type of the responsibility on the government by their own desire. There is it is not necessary that if they are not implementing, the Supreme Court can say that do that. It is their desire, but however, whenever they have to make the law, they have to think about this thing. Whenever the father is thinking anything, he should always think that one day I will provide Mercedes to my child. But this is not binding. So this should be whenever there is the government law and the rule that is framed, they should always think that the implementation of the DPSP. However, this is not the binding. So this is the main reason for the tussle. One is the binding, one is not binding. However, the same provision of the Constitution says that it is the responsibility, and due to the responsibility, it is considered that yes, government should do that. So this is the main thing that has been the part of the discussion of whole this article. And please try to write a mains answer. We have a question from this. So the question is here. We will discuss answer for it tomorrow. Examine the evolution of balance between the fundamental rights and the directive principle of the state policy in India, considering the judicial pronouncement and the constitutional amendments since the commencement of the constitution to 50 words, 50 marks. So here you have to talk the balance between the fundamental rights and the DPSP. So you have to bring all these cases. You will start with the Champakam Dora Rajan case. After that you should bring the Golaknath case, this Keswanand Bharti case, then Minideva Mill case, and now that is going on So you have to discuss all these things. You have to bring the constitutional amendment like the 24th amendment, 25th amendment, 42nd amendment, and you should talk that how the balance was changing, how one time the parliament shows that yes, we have the power. Same the next judgment, judiciary said that you do not have the power. So the tussle is continuously going on between the two organs of the government. One is the judiciary, one is the parliament, and the two part of the constitution, part 3 of the constitution and part 4 of the constitution. So the tussle is going at the two layers. One is between the fundamental right and the DPSP, and the second is between the judiciary and the parliament. Judicial power to the review and the parliamentary power of the amend the constitution. So there is two power. One is with the parliament, its power to change the constitution, and the judicial have power to review whatever the law is made by the constitution and whatever the change has been done by the parliament. Okay, so I hope this is clear. You will write this. Now the next relevant news that we are going to take is from the editorial again, and this is continuously going on into the news that what is going on into the Middle East, the West Asia. We saw that the Qatar and Egypt, they tried to bring the ceasefire and the peace. However, we have seen that the continuous attack from the Israeli, and in the city that is Rafah. Here we have seen the continuous attack. Most of the refugees, they were sheltering here. Near about more than 1 lakh people were there. As per the report till now, more than 34,000 of the Palestinians have been died, mostly women and the children, and the 70,000, more than 77,000, they have been injured. Displacement more than the millions. So this has been the case, and despite that, the attitude of the Israel now we can see. Despite the Hamas was agreed that we are going to leave the hostage, release the hostage, but the Israelis are not ready to do that. Okay, so that is all about. So continuously the news is going on. We will see that what is going on. Next news is sob story. So here, the restrictive revocation of the onion export ban sent wrong signal to the farmers. Here we saw that the continuously there was the ban because the supply chain of the onion was not sufficient, and that's why the many of the nations who are the leading producers such as the India, Pakistan and Egypt, they banned the onion export in their countries. However, we saw that all these countries, they released this ban, but in the case of the India, it is due to the election consideration that first we saw that the only the ban was removed into the Gujarat, and they were allowed to export the white onion. There was the opposition from the Maharashtra. For the prelims, you should know that state prelims, Maharashtra is the leading producer, the largest producer of the onion. The farmers of the Maharashtra, they were not allowed for the export. So now after the protest from them, the government has again, just before the election time is 20 May, they have allowed for the export. So this is all about from the both news analysis. Okay. Next news that we will take is from the open editorial. This is the opinion page giving primacy of the human development. So here, the discussion is going on. What is the difference between the growth and the development? Growth for India. India is now the leading GDP achiever. Now it is the 5th GDP into the world. However, on the development index, it is around the bottom. For example, take here. For the human development index, it is around, it's remained between the 130 to 35, the change. It is changing 1 or 2 points. For example, in the 2022, India ranked 134. In 2021, it was 135. Just one rank, the improvement in the just one rank. So we have seen that continuously the fluctuation. So what is the benefit of being the world 5th largest economy despite your people are not able to get they do not have the better income, they do not able to get the education, they do not have the capability to take the health consideration, health care. So here it says that beside that it is given that the continuously improvement into the India's Human Development Index, 1990 it was 0.43, and now it has improved to 0.644 by the 2024. So 48%. Despite the ranking is not improved because overall with respect to the other countries, our improvement is not there. Here you will see that the countries such as Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, China, even the Myanmar, Ghana, Kenya, all they have the better human development index than India. Why? Because the distribution of the income is much better in these countries. Despite we give help them. For example, take that there are 2 villages. One village there is the 5 jamidar. All other people, they are suffering from they don't have the food to eat anything. But the village is rich because there is the 5 jamidars. In any of the state, if the Ambani will start residing for Bihar, take the example of the Bihar, make the Ambani or the Adani as the part of them. Overall, the GDP or the income or the overall income of the Bihar will increase. But what about the normal people? Just to the one people, overall is reflecting that increase. But the common people do not have the job or the healthcare facility or the education facility. That is happening with the India. In India, there is the top 1%, they are controlling the lot of resources. For example, top 1% own near about 23 times of the average Indian. So the thing is that the people who are super rich, they have a lot of money, but the 99% of the people, they don't have the money. So overall, the country's economy shows that it is developing. For example, take simple example of this is the building. 100 of the people are living. I think that one people has the income of the 10 crore. 100 crore. So overall, the buildings income will be near about 101 crore. So if you will see the overall income of the building is 1.101 crore. But if you will go that only one person have the 100 crore, remaining 1,000 of the people, they have the income of the 1 crore. If you will divide 1 crore by the 1,000, so 1,000, what will be the 1, 2, 3? The average income of the each people, remaining people will be 10,000. But it will show that the overall they are earning into the crore. So reality is that it is not the overall economy that reflect the condition of the people or the development of the people. It is the education, health. Because if they will have the better earning, they can provide the better education, health, and other facility to their children. So that's why overall development that matters. And Bhutan's and other these countries, they have the less income, but that has distributed across their people, and that's why they have the better human development index. This is all about the most important thing. You should know that who release and publish this index. United Nations Development Program for the state pieces. This is very important. They will ask that who release and publish, and what is the ranking. The other thing that you should remember is even the India's ranking in the gender inequality index, that has been the 108 into the 2022, and in 2021 it was 122. So there has been the improvement. However, it is still very low. Out of 193 countries, 108, that is our gender inequality index. Here you will see again who published this. United Nations Development Program, they publish this. So please, these both facts are important: who develop, who release, and who publish, and what is the rank. Next relevant news that we are going to cover is the delay in Nagaland civic body poll. Here you will see that continuously there has been the unrest into the Nagaland with respect to the women reservation into the urban local bodies. So why? Because of the tradition. Nagas consider that the top Naga body, the name of the top Naga body is the Naga Hohos. Here it is given, Naga Hohos. They are the top apex bodies into the Naga society. They consider that the women are not part of the decision making, and that's why they are not ready for the reservation of the women. And that's why after the when it was introduced into the 2001, there was the continuously opposition of this law, that 33% reservation for the women into the its urban local bodies. Okay, why they are opposing? The other stand is that they are telling that already we have special status under Article 371 371A provide Nagaland special status. So here, where is the Article 371? Okay, so their ground is that as per Article 371, yeah, here it is given. As per Article 371, Nagaland has the special provision so that they have the autonomy. They can take their own decision with respect to their religion, their custom, their rituals, and the parliament law doesn't apply on these Naga people. As per, like the Kashmir had the special provision, Jammu and Kashmir 370 was the special provision. As per we have the different special provision for the other state as well. For the Nagaland 371, we have the special provision for the Arunachal Pradesh. We have a special provision for the Mizoram tribal people, because we want to assimilate the tribal people with our mainstream people. So we have said that we will not going to interfere in your religion, your custom, and your rituals, and that's why they are telling that our custom doesn't allow women to be participate into the decision making, and that's why if you will give the reservation of the 33%, it is against our custom, and that's why they are opposing. Continuously there has been the violence. You see that when in 2006, when the government wanted to apply this rule, there was so much violence, and there was the killing of the many of the people. So continuously we were postponing, and in Article 243 of our Indian Constitution, that's talk about the reservation of women into the urban local bodies. So Nagaland is the only state where the women's reservation into the local bodies, urban local bodies, has not been provided. So for the prelims, you should remember that only the Nagaland is the state where the urban local bodies, reservation of women into the urban local bodies had not been allowed. However, there has been the continuously dialogue between the state government and the tribal community, and they now agree for the now election, now providing the reservation for the women. Now all party they have agreed, and that's why now they are going to contest. They are going to hold the election. The election will be, the nomination will start from the 7 to 11, and after that the election will be held on the 30th of the June, and result will be announced by the 29th of the June. That is the basic information you should know. Okay. However, still there is some of the opposition. For example, the Eastern Nagaland People Organization, they are opposing this. Okay, and they are telling that we are not opposing the women or women reservation. What they are opposing the attitude of the central and the state government and the daily failure to create the autonomous frontier Nagaland territory. They want a autonomy in their state, and that is not acceptable by the central or the state government, because this is compromised with the Indian sovereignty, and that is the reason that we are not going to accept that. So this is all about from this news article. You should know that what is the issue. The issue is the reservation of women. Still the issue is that we have not recently we have excluded the reservation of the chairperson post and the taxation on the immovable property. Okay, so this is the other reason that there is the opposition in the Nagaland. However, the most of the political parties and the other bodies, they are accepting the 33% of the reservation into the normal candidacy, and that's why the election will be held into the 20 council and the 36 town council and the 3 of the municipal council. That will be taking place between the 7th to the 29th of the June. Next important news that we are going to take is from the socio-ecological effect of LPG price hike. So main core of this news is talking about that as per the different study, it has been found that increase in price of LPG that has resulted into the people shifting towards the cooking fuel, use of the solid cooking fuel such as the wood, dung, agricultural residue, coal and charcoal, and this has resulted into the impact of their health of the women, health hazard, and the socio-economic and environmental impact. Environmental because of the polluting gases, and socio-economic impact because of those who are the poor and from the backward lower caste, they generally go for this because they don't have the capacity for go for the higher prices of the LPG. They wanted to use LPG, but due to the high price, they are not able to afford that. So it is the poor who are becoming more poor. Economic condition and in the society, those who are the lower caste and lower rung of the social ladder, who are facing the most of this impact. For example, women. So here you will see that the health hazard, socio-economic impact, and the environmental impact. The history of this LPG start with the LPG Vitrak scheme that was launched in 2019, and it has increased into from 2010 to 2013. There was the 45 million of the new LPG connection was given. So it started further. We saw that the government came up with the PAHL, the Modi government. They came up with the PAHL initiative in 2015, and even the give it up initiative means who are the well off, they voluntarily they give up their subsidies, and near about the 1 crore of the people, they voluntarily discontinued their subsidies. This is the good part of the society. People are honest, people are ready to give up their beneficiaries. Okay, here you will see that continuously we are providing the subsidy of 200 rupees under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, and also 300 rupees that was increased from the October 2023. Maybe it could be due to the election season. Okay, so this is here the main study that this group has done it into the Jalpaiguri district of the West Bengal. Mostly the people involved into the tea state, the worker of the tea state, and here they have found that it is mainly due to the high price they are going for the forest fuel wood, and not only for the consumption, also for the sell. And this is all about from this news analysis. So here we have covered most of the relevant news from the today's newspaper. we will conclude our session here. Tomorrow we will do the 5 questions from the prelims from the topic that we have discussed. Although the main question that we have given to write you, please write and submit the answer approach. And tomorrow we will discuss the answer approach as well as the answer. So here we will conclude our session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.